What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Civilization 5 Realistic AI Only Battle, Episode 5. It's getting pretty interesting. We're just about to hit turn 200, so it is that time to look at the info addicts. That is a scary graph, isn't it? That's someone's just like on a different path. It's a bit of an outlier up there, and then there's me at the bottom as well. But it's fine. There's a bit of a movement going. The hashtag Keep Mongolia seemed to be the bigger one. I'm just going to move my microphone, sorry if there's a funny noise. But yeah, hashtag Keep Mongolia definitely won. I think we should keep them regardless. That's the whole point, right? We should keep them. But here we go, straight into the info addicts. We'll probably look over the top 5 of each category. Maybe just see if there's anything interesting. But straight up population, Mongolia is leading the way. Despite not having really many big cities, they do have the most, so that plays into it. But with 12 million people. Then in second, it's all the way to North Africa, where the Songhai have 10.8 million. Then it's North America, so quite a diverse range of people on this population list and where the people in this world are living. So the Cree in third, 10.5 million as well up there. Egypt just below double digits-ish, 9.2 million. Again, North Africa is quite a populated area on the map. And then the Huns in the sort of Russia area. It's hard to describe where it is right now. 6.5 million. There's also Persia, Iroquois, Brazil, Russia, and Japan. Just falling behind. Japan's quite a surprising one. Up in 10th. I think Tokyo is really big though, so that might be a part of that. On to crop yield. Who's got the most food? Quite far ahead again, but it is Mongolia. That's surprising. Some of their stuff's in the tundra, but they have really moved down now into China, and obviously Australia is going to play a part in that too. The Cree are in second again, so that's a good sign. At least someone maybe can consistently put some pressure on. Persia in third. Again, this is more about size, isn't it? The Huns fourth. Songhai fifth. The Iroquois Shoshone sixth and seventh. The Zulu on this list. Russia and Great Britain, surprisingly. A lot of food. Don't know where they're getting all that farmland from, but there we go. Manufactured goods. That is a massive lead for Mongolia, isn't it? A little bit scary there. First place with 416 million tons. Then in second it's the Cree again at 190. The Huns are in third, Persia in fourth, the Songhai fifth, Britain again doing very well, sixth place. The Iroquois seventh, Shoshone eighth, Zulu ninth, and Ethiopia sneaking in 10th place. Land area up next, Mongolia leading the way. This was kind of obvious, wasn't it? 2.9 million square kilometers so far. Quite the lead from the Cree, who are only just in 2 million kilometers. In the 2 millions, 2.06 million. Persia in third, the Huns fourth, Shoshone in fifth. Surprising because they lost a city, but there's still a lot of land. The Zulu in sixth, Songhai seventh, Russia eighth, Britain again up there ninth, Iroquois 10th, Brazil not doing as well as you'd think. Military manpower, Mongolia leading the way. It's not as bad as it sounds when you get here, especially since the two people that will probably rival Mongolia this game, the Huns and Russia, or we'd hope to rival them, a second and combined could beat Mongolia in theory. I don't know if the technology would allow for it now, but yeah, in theory those two could definitely at least hold them back for now. They need to keep expanding obviously, but yeah, Mongolia leads the way at 193,000. The Huns in second, 156,000, then Russia 131,000. The Cree in fourth with 129,000. Ethiopia in fifth, that's a surprise, at 123,000. Korea in sixth. This is a surprise, Korea right up there, pretty much level with Great Britain, 6th and 7th. Brazil in 8th, then it's Japan 9th, and the Songhai just below the 100,000 mark in 10th place. Social policies, even Poland's dead actually, I was going to say they're normally leading, but never mind. Mongolia has 17, a lot of culture obviously, doing very well there. Persia, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Arabia all have 14, and then 13 for the Huns and the Songhai, and then there's quite a few on 12, so we won't go too deep into them. Happiness, it's about who has negative happiness that really matters. At the moment, they're all good, but here we can see who has died, much easier. So 38, obviously it's 37 civs in the battle, because we are one of them. So the Sioux, Spain, China, France, Sweden, Poland, and the Aztecs have all fallen. That's a lot more than recent battles. I think 2 civs died in the Europa battle previously, and that was it. And that's why it was so laggy at times, I imagine. There we go. 7 civs dead already. Quite a few. Technologies, here we go. Indonesia, sorry guys, Comanche, Rome, Byzantium, the Maya, India not having the best games. They're the lowest developed, and that's quite a widespread. Like Rome 31, they started with like 15, 16 technology 14 maybe, I don't know how many exactly it was. It's 4 plus 8 plus another 4, so 16. Rome started with 16, so they've only discovered 15 techs since we began. That's pretty bad. But someone like Indonesia is only 4 behind them, and they only started with 4 technologies discovered. So that's not a good sign for someone like Rome. But yeah, very widespread. Byzantium, I think, got some extra techs, and they've already been caught by so many civs. But let's go to the top of the pack. 3 ahead, out in front, is Mongolia on 41. Behind them, there's a chasing pack of 3. Decree, Songhai, and Persia, all on 38. All very spread out civs as well. 5th, 6th, and 7th is the Huns, Iroquois, and Great Britain on 37. So Britain, the only Western European in the top 12. That's, of all the civs I gave the 3 to, the 3 level 3 boost basically, Great Britain is the only one. I mean, not many of them are alive, are they? But Austria was the next one, I think, and they're in 23rd. So the Western Europeans did not do that well. Yeah, Rome, Austria, and Britain, the only 3 left with that boost. But Rome and Austria are definitely not doing too well. Zulu up here as well, Ethiopia. So the sub-Saharan Africans have definitely caught up and put themselves in the mix. The Songhai as well. And Egypt, again, although they, I think, had a bit more of a head start than those guys. Net gold is gold per turn, which is why we ignored GMP, because that's just gold income. Mongolia is making the most. That's not a good sign. You'd hope there'd be something holding them back. Brazil, surprisingly, in 2nd. There you go, a new one. Persia, the Inca, Egypt, Cree, Russia, Siam, Huns, and Austria. Cities, Mongolia have 21. Dang, Australia's helping them a lot. The Korea in 2nd with 14. Persia in 3rd with 13. The Huns have 12. Then it's Russia and the Zulu with 7. Songhai, Iroquois, Shoshone all have 6. Arabia, Britain with 5. Some of the top ones there. Science output, Mongolia leading again. Then it's the Cree, then the Huns, Persia, Brazil, the Iroquois, Songhai, Great Britain, Ethiopia, and Russia. Culture, Mongolia only just winning this one. 2 points in it ahead of Brazil. Persia's up there as well. The Huns, the Iroquois, the Cree, Songhai, Arabia, Russia, and Egypt. Wonders, Mongolia's got 5. Great Britain have 3. 2 for the Songhai, Iroquois, Huns, Brazil, and Austria. Lots of people with 1 as well. Treasury. The Inca Mongolians have got the most sort of stored away, whether they're not spending it or saving it for something else. We'll look at religion separately, but faith gain could be interesting, but some of these civs don't have religion, so it's hard to tell. I can't remember who has what. Great works. The Songhai and Brazil both have 5. Finally, 1 Mongolia is not winning. The Huns and Persia have 4. 3 for Russia, Mongolia, Britain, Arabia, and Egypt. Trade routes, I don't know if this matters. Mongolia and Britain have 6. A few 5s. But yeah, pretty spread out amongst the board at the top. Tourism, again, Mongolia is not winning. Brazil with 20. 10 for the Huns and the Songhai. 8. Lots of 6s. But yeah, quite interesting spread once you get beyond Mongolia. The Huns, the Cree seem to probably be doing the best off of that list. And then it's Persia. Britain, one of the surprise sort of packages in there as well. Let's have a quick look at the religion, see how people are doing. Biggest religion is the T8. It's losing its lead, definitely. Protestantism is starting to snowball a bit in North America, I think. But Islam from Arabia is now in 38 cities, which is pretty cool because it's in Mecca. That's like the right place for it to start. Protestantism from the Iroquois is at 26 now. 3rd place and falling off a little bit is Catholicism from Spain and Western Europe. Then Eastern Orthodox from Ethiopia is on 15 in Sub-Saharan Africa. Judaism from the Inca is sort of around South America with 8 cities. Shinto from Japan's got 10 in East Asia as well. And then Sikhism from Austria will probably be the first religion to sort of, I don't want to say die, that's a terrible, poor word for it, but sort of disappear. Just a second, guys. Probably could have got away with just a cut and not telling you about it, but I thought it might be a bit weird. Ow. Now I've just mashed my knee onto the desk. That's good. It was getting kind of dark, so I went to turn the light on. But I forgot I've got this energy-saving light bulb, which means I shut the curtains, which was the last source of light, and now I'm just sort of sat in a very dark room as the light gradually lights up. It's all good. It's all good. We're all fine. This is it. Let's see, is this the episode where Russia and the Huns either tear each other apart, which would be very interesting. I don't know how a war between them would go. Be a very big mess, I imagine. But it looks like the Huns might go after Korea. And this city has been here for such a long time that, it's actually kind of worth taking now. The only problem is Korea has definitely considered it's at risk and sort of fortified it. Pretty good move. But yeah, Korea's military, I mean, look at this. Even this city is pretty safe, and this is really smart from Korea. I mean, it's starting to lose its effect as Mongolia build frigates, and this city in particular looks pretty scary. But yeah, Korea has just definitely tried to turn themselves into a fortress, and you've got to appreciate that. The boats was probably your best hope against Mongolia. I'm not sure that will work as well now that they have good boats too. Siam piecing out. Japan's gone for the similar sort of approach. They've got a lot of galleasses, but not quite frigates. And I'm seeing lots of people in the deep oceans now. That's new. Japan's out here with caravels. Korea's got a composite bowman out here. Obviously, the AI is going to be helped in its exploration by the fact they all sort of know where each other are now. And I think Morocco just got eliminated. No, they still have Barcelona in Iberia. Not sure how long. I mean, Rome aren't doing much. I think they might be a bit broken this game. They've just not done well at all. I don't know how they took Paris and Madrid. That is like a miracle. But yeah, it's not been Rome's game. I don't even think they've done anything except build some roads since the war ended. And they took all that stuff from Spain. They've really not built much. So they probably won't be taking Barcelona. Someone else might do. But there we go. The Songhai looking pretty strong in West Africa. Of course, they are fighting this big weird war that broke out between them and Byzantium right now. And I think the Zulu are attacking the Congo. And obviously if Mbanza Congo was to fall into Shaka's hands, that's quite a good city to take. And obviously it will weaken the Congo. But Ethiopia, sort of arming up. They're ready to defend themselves, I think. They're going to definitely not let the Zulu... Yeah, basically I see the Zulu finishing off the Congo. Sorry, guys. And then obviously it's going to be a tough battle either way between them and Ethiopia, them and the Songhai. And maybe a team will form. A bit of an alliance. Maybe they'll try and get the Songhai to team up on Ethiopia or something like that to work. But obviously as time goes on, the stronger nations that have messed up a little bit will get to redeem themselves as they get better technology. I just mentioned that because I saw Egypt have cannons. Obviously Zulu will probably get that sort of technology soon. That'll be a good advantage for them. Egypt growing again. I mean, Thebes is a huge city, so it's hard to judge them sometimes. It's hard to judge the civs that play tall, because Egypt clearly have probably the best technology in Africa. Actually, the Songhai might be beating them, maybe. But, yeah, the Songhai are probably ahead of them. But it's hard to compare Egypt with the Zulu right now, because Egypt is definitely ahead in technology. Although that said, the Zulu now have caravels. Maybe they'll find something cool out here. Britain have caravels. Yeah, just seeing who's in that deep ocean. Japan, Mongolia, the Songhai is out here as well. Just a few civs out here. The Inca have also made it into the deep ocean. The Iroquois missionary has. They have a caravel, so I think they can now officially do that. I think my submarine is safe in the corner for now. Hopefully it doesn't have an issue. I tried to do the thing where I give myself a tile, but it didn't work this time. Normally it works fine. I'm sure I was just doing something wrong. Sure it'll go back to working again soon. No new settlers just yet, although there is one actually there, just passing Indonesia. I wonder if they'll settle on this island. That would give them a good place to attack Indonesia from. They have 2 settlers on the way down though. But I mean, it's pretty cool just to see what the Mongolian AI does in this scenario. They actually have 3 more settlers in Mongolia, so that's a pretty scary scenario. And the one that was heading up this way has just grabbed another coastal city. And I see an Ottoman settler being very brave. But despite all this strength, the Mongolians still can't take the Indians out. And they've grabbed another city 1 tile away. I said settling here would be like a ridiculously difficult place to take the city from. But they've gone next to it, that's fine. And I assume other people have done it. They must have done. But yeah, Japan just entered the industrial era. That's pretty cool. Just something I caught note of. They're sticking to themselves on their island. And they're doing much better than you'd expect. And the same goes for Great Britain. The island civs definitely... It's more impressive from Japan. I mean, Britain had extra technologies. They've also managed to get off of the British Isles, which is more than we can expect from them. So yeah, I mean, they've done very well. But Japan to catch all the way up, that's quite impressive. Quite impressive in its own right. So, here we go. That's what they need sometimes. And there we go. The Maya have pieced out with the Comanche. Not really sure what the rest of this game will entail for the poor Mayans. We'll see how it plays out. Oh, the new city for the Corral. That's pretty cool. That mountain's kind of awkward, isn't it? You have to go in the sea to get to it. But, oh well. Could be interesting. Hopefully they get to see Brazil and the Inca, one of them, just do something soon. Egypt v Siam. One of those sort of not very important wars again. Obviously, we've got to consider them because sometimes they just lead to like 10 more people join in. Like, if lots of people declare war on the Siam after this, Persia and Mongolia, for example, which is definitely a rock and a hard place kind of position for Siam. I said India were in a bad spot before. Siam is now. Korea joining. That's not great. Oh, and okay, well, there we go. Barcelona did fall. Didn't really see that one coming, but Carthage has actually managed to grab it. I like this from Carthage and Byzantium are having cool games. They're not... Neither of them are probably going to win. Harsh to say this, but probably neither of them will make it to the end. I don't know. Maybe Byzantium will. They don't really have that many scary neighbours, but Carthage will probably fall to the Songhai at some point. But they're just going around, taking cities, losing them again. They're being entertaining, and that's just as important sometimes. It's what you need from those sorts of civs. If they're going to be here, instead of being boring and try-harding it, they've made it this far. Now they can just let their hair down, have a bit of fun. But yeah, that's probably what they need. No new settling from Russia just yet. They see over time, these cities all at 3 population, they're going to slowly grow, slowly become very useful for them. I just wonder what the Huns are up to. Looks like they're going after India. Not sure that's the brightest idea. Mongolia just continuing to send more units towards India in this valley. If this becomes a recurring storyline of India just holding off Mongolia, which wouldn't be that hard to be honest. If you put like a line of trebuchets here, you could definitely hold them off. Maybe not forever, just hordes of Kashyyyks. It could be pretty cool. Go down in legend. The only issues are Mongolia has plenty of other armies. They don't just have one. They have this one sort of built up here, which is probably going to be the Japan invasion force. Although I imagine they'll test drive it on Korea first, won't they? By the look of it, that's the way it seems to be heading. Anyway, from what I've sort of guessed, compared to someone like Persia, who's still very spread out military-wise, I see they now finally have some frigates, so that could allow them to make some moves. They have plenty, I say plenty, they have four coastal cities, not their best cities, but still 4 sort of coastal cities on the Indian Ocean. They can get a bit of a navy. That will help against the Siam in the future, although they'll need open borders from Indonesia. And definitely against Arabia. They are a fully coastal civilization. All of their cities on the coast. It's very difficult to get your boats up here, in all fairness, but still, they are very much coastal. The Inca peaced out with the Indians. That was obviously a huge war that has raged on for so long. So tragic. The great Incan-Indian conflict. Austria v Rome in Europe. This could be interesting. I don't really know how strong Austria is. I mean, the AI surprised us this game. Anything's possible. Egypt, yeah, they're a bit too far away. But at least it's a teammate, Austria. Maybe if you can get someone else in. I don't really know who would help you. Great Britain could probably actually give you a good hand. I mean, you could just stick your units here, right? That would be smart. There's nothing stopping you. Or you could come down from Norway, which they own. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the smart move, actually. Yeah, looking at it, that's probably the best option they have. Austria and Britain team up. Maybe Austria gets the city of Rome, and Britain can have Madrid, and then race for Paris. Although Paris would probably fall first, but something like that needed. I don't know how they would want to divide it up between themselves. That's up to them, not for me. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. Whether the AI could do that, or I could have even pulled it off, is another question. Is this new? No, that was there. Here we go. Plenty of workers arriving. They don't seem like prisoners. Looks like this Australia is... I mean, they're autocratic, so I feel like they didn't have a choice. But maybe this is the better choice, right? Maybe this might be better than working in this part of Mongolia. I don't really know. But yeah, still the only civ with an ideology, which is kind of scary, because that does mean Mongolia has 3 factories. Well, didn't really think of that at the time. But yeah, that is pretty alarming for the other civs. The Huns actually might grab this just because it has such low defense. Look at the pikemen. It's capable, and the Kashyyyk is helping it out as well. By the look of it, although saying that, the Kashyyyk died. But yeah, the Huns definitely here to go after India. I thought they might attack Korea. But yeah, Korea's unique units were here. That would have been a very, very difficult siege for anyone to try pull off. How are the Zulu doing? They're definitely going to grab this next turn. And this could be a big loss for the Congo, losing their capital, and a big shift in Africa, because obviously until now I think the Songhai have probably felt pretty comfortable, but now they will share a border with Shaka, and even his navy looks pretty intimidating. I don't know what happened to this boat. I don't know whether it got damaged by someone else. Maybe they're also trying to sneak into the Congo in the last sort of dying moments, try and grab a city. The Byzantine army was heavily destroyed. I don't really know what they were doing. Not that that matters. Look at this army of Galeuses. If anyone tries to attack their cities, the boats are going to do a good job at defending them. And there we go. Shaka does grab Mbanza Congo. There's a chance the Congo might take it back once, but it's going to be pretty difficult. He's going to fall back to his final city in Kabasa and hope and pray basically. That's just about all he's got right now. Another Cree settler. Wonder where they would go with that. I mean, the Caribbean is still kind of open. It's a very weird looking Caribbean. There's actually not really any luxuries here. There is a sugar in Florida. There's a few crab resources actually that the Cree do not have access to just yet. So they might go for that. Maybe a city down here. Maybe a Cree version of LA. I don't know. Knowing the AI, they'll probably come slap it down in the middle of the tundra with no resources. But yeah, suit yourselves. If that's what they want to do, they can go ahead and do that. Byzantine Iceland has grown to a solid 2 population. They haven't quite got a worker out yet to make the most of this silver resource or the fish. The UK grabbed that fish. That'd be sad, wouldn't it? Britain piecing out with the Zulu. So didn't really know of. Obviously, not going to remember that sort of war. Not the most important. We're mainly focused on the border conflicts, and at the moment Siam, this might turn. Siam may have pushed their luck a little bit. Their elephants taken some damage. They fought back a bit there though. The Mongolian settlers all seem to be heading southwards. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? You've just found this huge continent basically that is completely empty. If it wasn't going to get worse, they might grab a city in New Guinea. That's kind of cool. Papua New Guinea. But, yeah, I mean, there's a few more coming down this way. Maybe we should have just stuck in Australia. Just to keep it, balanced. I was trying to keep it to more native. Well, not native, but, I don't even know the word to describe them. But sort of historical nations. Obviously, Australia's fairly recent. Zulu versus Austria, that is not so important. Russia v Austria, they do actually have a border. Russia doesn't seem ready for this though, so the Krakow-Warsaw border should be safe for now. Russia's going to have a defensive advantage with the citadel. Austria has the advantage of being able to put more units in, but obviously things can change. The Huns could get involved. Siam and Persia have now peaced out officially, and Persia do grab the Forbidden Palace too, and they're going to get stronger over time. As their borders grow, their cities grow. They now have all of Persian lands into the Arabian Peninsula, spreading up this way. I don't know what this is really called, but spreading up into Central Asia, and obviously all of India as well, pretty much under their control. So they are also doing very well. Let's not discount them too much from this game just yet. Just because they're not winning. That would be unfair. Eastern Orthodox beginning to spread out this way. I saw that little boost there. But Islam probably going to be quite strong here. It's actually starting to spread towards Southeast Asia, up into Central Asia, all the way up here, look. That is not what Japan will want, as Shinto sort of slowly spreads throughout Mongolia and Korea. In the east, Arabia. There you go, grabbing that little island. Don't know what it's called. It's not the Seychelles, is it? I think that should be here if it was on the map. I don't know what it's called. But, yep, that little island. That's pretty cool for Arabia. Just a little tile. Very nice. No more cities in Madagascar just yet. This Ethiopian city, I think, is another new one. Yeah, they're up to 5 now, so it is. City of Gondar. 2 population. Just now down to the border with the Zulu. They trade with them. Maybe those two get along. It's another coastal city on East Africa. Could come in handy. Their main issue is that their 2 biggest cities are inland. That's not going to let them get too far naval-wise. Looks like Shaka might be trying to regroup right now. He sent his workers in very bravely. They might get stolen away. So very brave. But yeah, he looks like he's having a bit of a regrouping phase right now. Just getting everything back together. Screwing all fixing the nuts and bolts and putting the Zulu army back together, which is probably a good move. There is a Roman settler. I mean, it looks like it's heading towards Africa. I mean, maybe they're blind. Maybe they have open borders with Carthage. I mean, why they haven't filled up this gap between France with just a coastal Atlantic city, I don't know. Looks like they're going to go through Madrid. Okay, well, Russia, you've just declared war on Austria. You're not even through Austria. You just want to make it more difficult for yourself and add Rome. But there you go. Not that that'll make too much difference. Also, Russia is now very ready for that war. I said they weren't before. Now they are. And Mongolia does grab the Sistine Chapel. Pretty interesting one. North America's pretty quiet, by the way. I don't think anyone is at war right now. All the big guys sort of pieced out. The Korea are trying to go after Palenque. I think it'll be safe. The Korea don't really have any boats. They've only just really got access to this city to build boats with. And Ethiopia v the Congo. That's actually an interesting one. If Ethiopia take this, that's going to put more pressure on the Zulu. And going to keep Africa very interesting, almost in a four-way race. Not, I don't want to discredit Carthage, but I just don't see them. Out of the 5 left that are spawned in Africa, I know Arabia do have one city in Africa, and Byzantium as well. But yeah, I think it's between Ethiopia, the Songhai, and the Zulu, and Egypt are like an outsider, just because they seem to be doing really good with technology. So I'm going to not throw them out of it just yet. But yeah, I mean, Byzantium, I don't see Carthage clinging on. They're very spread out. They've sort of been saved by these mountains, and those mountains aren't that useful anymore, as Morocco found out themselves just recently, and they've actually been eliminated. So that's another less sieve for the processing on the PC. That's very nice. We're at turn 214. Those of you that are unfamiliar with the channel, normally if the game does not break in advance, we try and go to turn 400, and then from that point on, that's the point. Like, I feel it's just best if we have a set point every game. And then after that, I'll just skip like 50 episodes, 50 turns per episode, and just show you what's happened, because it just, at that point, does start to slow down. And it's easier to have a cut-off point for every game, so that no one, I don't want to say no one complains, people put in complaints either way, but there's got to be a cut-off point, or I could never win. So, well, I don't really win, but I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. There needs to be just a set cut-off point to make it easier every time. And if I can go further, then, you know, we can always bend the rules a little bit. But for now, there is a set cut-off, usually at turn 400. That's when we go from the sort of watching it all the time to the more skipped, highlight, whatever sort of thing we opt for each time. Basically, just to keep anyone who's new informed. Mongolia going after India here. This is looking very promising, but they have retreated again. Never mind, India just surviving in the mountains, in the desert. Not sure if it's worth surviving, but the Huns have left them alone a bit too. They seem to be retreating away now, so that's very nice. And Mongolia is adding some cities to Australia, so let's keep an eye on that one here. As we expected, there's 2 more settlers on their way, and they've already grabbed northern Australia. Poor old Indonesia, you're too slow. I don't know why. You could have found it here, but you don't seem to be sending your units very far away, so they're probably very overwhelmed. The World's Congress means they just discovered a whole load of countries at once. They're probably very scared. They're like, oh my goodness, all this time the map was so small, and now it's huge. I can imagine that might be quite overwhelming for them. Let's have one more turn for this episode. We'll have made it through 17 in an episode. That's not bad at all, to be honest. Considering what we've had recently. There was like, I think it was 6 minutes a turn at one point in the Europa thing. And it was 10 minutes a turn by the time I got it to the end. So, 17 over half an hour. What's that? That's just over a minute. It's gradually going up, as it always does. But this is definitely manageable. Very nice right now. Not too difficult, with a few big events going on across Europe. Russia versus Austria is the big one. Not across Europe, sorry, across the map. Russia v Austria is pretty big. Looks like Arabia v the Ottomans, I can't quite tell. And Ethiopia obviously joining against the Congo is sort of the other big thing. And I guess the Mongolian colonization of Australia is pretty big, regardless of how you want to spin it. Brazil's borders gradually just getting really big as well. If you just look, they're very slowly becoming quite huge. They've almost cut the Incans off from their southern city. I think Brazil will eventually win, although at the moment they seem to be cohabiting pretty nicely with open borders. Maybe they'll stick together for a little while. I mean, to be honest, at this point, there's not really... I don't think it would matter. I think there's plenty of... there's so much land down here. Brazil could easily grab some cities down here and do better without attacking them. I mean, obviously that's not what you want to hear from the fun side of things, but very possible. Poundmaker has just entered the industrial era. I think that is the leader of the Cree, just because I think he is in Civ 6. Oh, I can check. Oh no, yeah, it's Poundmaker. Okay, there we go. Just checking. But that is it for this episode, guys. As always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video. Be sure to leave a comment down below. That'd be awesome with what you thought of the episode, what you want to see in the future, which Civ is going to be eliminated next. I'd love to hear what you think on that one. And be sure to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. That would be awesome. Been stuck at 1,300 for a long time now. It would be nice to maybe get to 1,350 or something. I don't know. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.